a live edition. Tonight I'm actually going to be streaming from Instagram and Facebook. I'm still trying to figure Instagram out. I am seeing that I'm on Instagram, just want to make sure that you can see me and hear me on both platforms, because today I had a poll to determine where I should go live from, and it was so close, we almost had a tie. So I decided I'm going to stream from both of my accounts, Instagram and Facebook. So this is completely new, never done that before. The lighting is going to completely bug me on the Instagram side tonight, but hopefully we are going to be able to move past that and figure out how to get this done. Okay, so on the Facebook side, on Facebook, on Instagram, welcome to all of you who are joining me right now. It's really, really nice to be back. And tonight, I am going to be answering some of your anonymous questions. Now, keep in mind, I have no idea who these questions are from, and I will try to answer them the best that I can. Yes, Luba, I know it's a little bit blurry on the Instagram side, and I'm not even sure how I can fix this problem. Let me see, hold on, because I don't really go live on Instagram. Just bear with me as I try to figure out what we can do. Oh, let's see. Okay, hold on. No. Okay, hold on. It's putting nice filters on, but that's not what I'm looking for. Bear with me. Hi, Bella. I see Bella joined us on Instagram. Okay, so Facebook is better. Yes, Antonina, I agree. Facebook is definitely better. I am not liking the Instagram version of going live. However, we're going to deal with what we have. Zalman, can you turn on the light maybe for 1 second in the kitchen? Maybe that's going to help us fix the situation before we begin. Welcome to all of you who are joining. We're going to begin momentarily. Is that better? No, it's not better. You could shut it off again, please. It's clearer? Yeah? No, on Instagram. On Instagram, is it better? It keeps freezing. That's Instagram? I'm not sure what's going on, but bear with me. If you see me on Instagram, great. If not, we're just going to end the live on Instagram because it looks like the Instagram live is not working so well. So I'm just going to end it. Give me 1 second. And then we're going to just focus on Facebook just to end the confusion. Okay? Discard. All right. We're done. No more Instagram. Instagram, it looks like, is not for me. So Instagram is over. We're going to continue on Facebook, the usual method, the one I'm used to. And maybe one day I'll figure out how to use Instagram, but not for tonight. Welcome to all of you who are joining me live tonight from Facebook. Once again, I am going to be addressing some of the anonymous questions that I got. So yesterday, I put an anonymous question poll and I asked you to ask questions. So a lot of the questions I was able to answer where you can see my answers. But then there were some questions that came to me that were a little bit more in depth, and I wasn't able to just answer it with a one-line answer. So therefore, I'm going to, there's no particular order. I'm going to say the question online, and you're going to help me answer it, okay? The first question is as follows, okay? Which one am I going to go to first? All right, I like this question. The question goes as follows. My son is dating a girl he really likes. Her parents are very demanding about what type of lifestyle they want for her. My son can't afford it. He really maxed out on 3 credit cards. How can I tell my son maybe she's not for her, for him, it should say. Maybe she's not for him. So again, this woman is asking a question. Her son is dating a girl. He really likes the girl, but her parents are demanding to the point where her son already maxed out on 3 different credit cards. And the mother is asking, how do I tell my son, maybe the girl is not for you? Well, this is a very tough situation because we have a couple of issues here. The first issue I personally have, and again, this is my opinion, this is the way I feel I would answer this question. You may completely disagree, and that's totally okay. First thing is, why are the parents demanding here? Okay, so the parents have to really back off, because if they're not going to back off right now and they're going to be making demands even before the couple is married, what's going to be when the couple is married? Are they also going to have demands? Are they also going to expect a certain type of lavish, fancy lifestyle for their child? Every parent is entitled for their daughter to have a good life or for their son to have a good life. But when they start to have expectations and almost like they're the ones that are controlling what the girl or the guy should or shouldn't do, I think we are already starting a very bad note here. From the beginning of the marriage, as much as parents want to get involved, they're doing it for the best interest of the couple. The wedding planning should be something the couple has to deal with. It should not come from the parents. Now, the second part is, my son can't afford it. He already maxed out on 3 credit cards. So if he's trying to please her and he's trying to really go above and beyond and do everything for her, the question is he really doing himself a favor? What's going to happen when they're living life and in reality he can't afford this type of a lifestyle, but he's already from the beginning, before they're even married, showing an impression to the girl, your wish is my command. You want it? You got it. There's no communication of, I'm sorry, I can't. I'm not able to. Why does that happen? Because there's a fear that he's going to lose her. There is a fear that if he doesn't do that, she's going to back off. So it's understandable. But what happens when you get married and all of a sudden you can no longer do it? The fear should remain, because then you're going to have disagreements as well, because you're starting off on the wrong foot. When people are going out on dates and they're acting like they are what they really are not, they're having this perfect side to themselves, and then life hits and it's not what it looks like, this is when couples start off on a very shaky first year of marriage. And unfortunately, there are even many cases where they don't even last through the first year because they're starting off on the wrong note. Now, about this mother that's asking, can you close that door, please? About the mother that's asking if she should tell her son that maybe this girl is not for her. I don't know. You're in a very tough situation. I don't think that you can really tell that to your son. I don't think it's it just wouldn't be fair, because how do you really know whether or not she is or she isn't for your son? I would really have a conversation. I would maybe talk to my son and explain to him that he needs to communicate better with the girl, explain that this is out of his budget, show his authentic self. You see, many of us are really nervous to show our true, authentic selves. We're nervous. We feel like people are not going to accept us. We're going to break off a great deal. And then we start to be who we're not. And it's not good. So I would really maybe talk to my son about being authentic. Explain to him that he should not feel pressured to do things that he's not able to do. Pray for him. Really ask God to show my son, for example, if this is meant to be his partner, open all the doors and let everything fall into place. If this is not meant to be my son's partner, Hashem, I rather you close this shidduch right now, close the doors right now, because at the end of the day, you might as well start off and break off if need be before marriage, then after marriage. So I hope that helps, and good luck to whoever asked this question. This is a real dilemma, and I really think we see this more often than not. I don't think this is a rare situation. I think it happens a lot, even with cars. I'm sure that there's many young teenagers or young adults who are driving very fancy, very expensive, lavish cars, which is great. But then they get married and they have the expense of rent, and they have the expense of tuition, and they have the expense of children. And that luxurious car is now a necessity. They can't afford a luxury. And then they have to degrade and demote, go down on their expenses, and it doesn't feel good. You rather start off low and build yourself up than start off on a high level and then feel like you are going down the ladder. Okay, let's see. Next question. It's daunting, which means tiring, to have to take care of everyone and cook every week. I don't even feel like cooking or having anyone for Shabbat. It seems more difficult than enjoyment at this time. Any insight? So I'll be very honest with you. Especially nowadays when it's winter and Shabbat is very early and it's getting very dark outside very, very early, many people actually feel exactly like the person who wrote the question. In the cold winter months, it's very difficult to make Shabbat. Not only is it difficult to make Shabbat for our own family, it's difficult to have guests all together because of the timing of the early Shabbat, and it's getting dark and it's very cold, and to go out and make shopping in the cold weather, it's very exhausting. So for whoever wrote this question, I want you to know that you're not alone. You're not alone. It's a normal feeling to feel exhausted. Now, I don't know your personal situation. I don't know if you have a newborn. I don't know how many children you have. I'm sure there's a lot missing in this picture. But either way, there is nothing wrong with not having to cook every single night. If cooking every night is difficult for you, maybe cook on Sunday. Meal prep. Prep for 3 days in a row. Freeze it, refrigerate it, repurpose something so that you can use, let's say, chicken legs for a few meals instead of just, having just, let's say, korochan. You can have korochan and soup and make something else so that you have more options. When you're able to meal prep once a week for a few days, you are already taking the burden of having to cook for yourself every day off. So you have a few days off on the weekdays. And the second thing is about Shabbat. If it's difficult for you to cook on Shabbat and have guests on Shabbat, who said you have to have guests? You don't have to. Shabbat is meant to be a day of rest. It's supposed to be something that we're looking forward to. If you have to order borscht, buy a few salads, buy smoked fish instead of making regular fish, whatever you have to do to make it easy for yourself, it's okay to make it easy. This feeling of exhaustion that you're writing, whoever this person is, it will dissipate. It will get better. We all have moments in our life where we feel tired, we feel lack of energy, we feel unmotivated, we're just exhausted. Everybody goes through that. When your body is giving you a signal that you're tired and you need a timeout, it's okay to listen to what your body's telling you. Not only that, it's also okay to call your mother, call your mother-in-law, call a nice friend. If you're exhausted, maybe you can go to them for a week or two and say, hey, I would love to come over for Shabbat. I would definitely bring something. I would just love your company. Maybe you can have yourself go to somebody for 1 or 2 weeks just to get yourself off this exhausted feeling. Once you feel rejuvenated, more energetic, that feeling of having the ability to cook and once again host and do Shabbat is going to come back to you. So you are totally normal. I just want to check the connection. Are you able to hear me? If you're able to hear me, please say yes or put the thumbs up sign, because it keeps telling me that there's a connection problem on my end. So please let me know if you are able to hear me so that I know that it's not freezing. Do you see my screen freezing, or are you able to hear me without a problem? Okay, very good. So I'm happy that there is no connection issues. Thank you, Svetlana, Ella, Antonina. I appreciate it. Let's move on. Another question. These are very, I'm actually very happy that whoever asked these questions, because I'm sure these questions are very helpful to a lot of people. And again, these are the ways that I would answer it. It doesn't mean I'm right. It doesn't mean I'm wrong. It's just my opinion. What would you advise a girl right now who is in school and she's learning to be in the medical field, okay? And she's talking to someone who's a barber? Do you think they will get along, or it will be difficult considering she's going to be educated? Just in case you didn't follow the question. So this person is writing, she's in medical school, okay? She's a girl, she's getting her medical profession, and she's dating a guy who's a barber. Are they going to have trouble in the future because she's more educated? Now, this is a very personal question because I am in the same situation. This is my own life, right? I have a medical degree. My husband is a barber. For me personally, it works out perfectly. There is no level of I'm educated, my husband is not educated. It doesn't exist, because I'll tell you, there is a difference between book smart and life smart. Just because somebody is book smart, they're lawyers, they're doctors, they're nurses, whatever titles you have, you're book smart. You may not be life smart. There are people who are without any medical degree or any high degree college. They don't have MBAs or any accountant degree, finance majors, but they're able to be living life. They know how to live life. So when you are looking to date someone, I think the most important compatibility is not necessarily your degree of education, but rather the degree of being life smart. Is this girl or guy going to be a good husband? Is this girl or guy going to be a good parent? Is this girl or guy that you're dating with going to be a good friend, companion, partner? If he's going to be or she's going to be the most educated person, but when it comes to derech eretz, when it comes to being humble, when it comes to contributing to the family, when it comes to helping out and doing chesed, they don't have any of that. They're just simply good at what they do on the job. That is going to not work out for anybody. That's number one. Number two, I feel if you're not in, let's say, if you have been a doctor or a lawyer or some, big corporate person for years, okay, you're not just starting out, you're in your mid-30s, you've been in this profession for many years. In that case, I would definitely recommend getting somebody compatible with your career or at least with your standards. Because, for example, okay, and no offense to anybody, small example, being on time is very important to people who work in the business corporate field because they're used to it. They have to be on time. They punch into work. They have been conditioned and programmed to be on time. Somebody who doesn't have that need, that pressure, that lifestyle, doesn't necessarily have to be on time, is going to be, for example, very, laid back about things being done on time. And eventually, that may also become, something so small may become an issue because it's going to be like, well, why don't you get things done right? Why are you not on time when I told you to be ready? Because you are not compatible in that aspect. Small little aspect, but you can have disagreements. So if you have been educated in the field for many years, I would recommend personally having a partner who is on that compatibility. But if you're both starting out, she hasn't really finished school yet. She's still in school. So technically, if you're still in school and you haven't gotten a degree, I would say, why not go out with a barber? What's wrong with that? I personally see that can totally work out. So this is how I would answer it. If you have been in the career for many years, you're already, in your mid 30s, late 20s, I would say maybe that would be a better idea to stick to somebody who is on your own platform. If not, if you're starting out, you're young, you can grow together. I would say I don't see anything wrong with that. But at the end of the day, just because someone is book smart doesn't mean they are life smart. Okay. All right, there's a few other questions. I'm just deciding which ones I want to answer. How did you and your husband know each other before you got married? And how did you guys how long did you and your husband know each other before you got married? And did you guys get set up? I see, Зина, вы пишете что-то, но мне тяжело читать на русском быстро, я потом постараюсь почитать. How long did you and your husband know each other before you got married? And did you guys get set up? Okay, so I did discuss this before. So for the person who's writing this, thank you for the question. I guess you're interested to know, so I will answer. My husband and I met when we were very young, okay? So I just turned 16, so I was very young. And he was 4 years older than me at that time. We did not get set up, okay? It wasn't a match like a shidduch. I didn't have any matchmakers. I was, first of all, very, very young. So I wasn't dating because I was very young. So to answer your question, how long did I know my husband before marriage? I got married shortly after, a year later. So I got married very young. And most of you will think not normal, but it worked for me. So at 17, I got married. So I dated my husband for 1 year before I got married to him. So that's how did I meet him? If you're curious, I met my husband in a camp that I worked in. My husband came to pick up his sister who was in the camp that I worked in. And that's how we met. So that's how I would answer this question. Okay. How do you and your husband, another one, I guess they're interested. How do you and your husband get through difficult times? So this is going to have two different people asked two different questions, but I'm going to answer them back to back. So this is going to be, how do you and your husband get through difficult times? And then the second part of the question is, it's a different person asking, I think, but it's very similar. The question is, what was the toughest challenge that you had with your husband? Okay, so two different questions, but I'm going to answer them back to back. How do we get through difficult times? And what was the most difficult challenge? So the number one way that we get through difficult times, okay, depending on what the situation is. If it's a situation that affects both of us together, okay, it's not just my job or his job, or something that happened to me personally, maybe my health or his health, it affects both of us. If it affects both of us, we really truly try to communicate and be there for each other and try to, talk each other through that situation. And, like we're okay to agree to disagree. A lot of it is through communication. If it has to do with one of us, for example, my husband is having trouble at work, I would have to be the one to support him, to uplift him, to give him a boost, to be there for him mentally and emotionally. If I'm having trouble at work, for example, or I'm having any type of a health trouble, God forbid, or anything, I would really depend on my husband to do the same for me. So how do we get through difficult times? We get through difficult times by being each other's support system and by understanding that my challenge is his challenge and his challenge is my challenge. We are united. There is no mine or his, it's ours. And that I try to do with any aspect of our life, whether it has to do with family. If somebody hurt me, for example, my husband is going to feel it as if he's hurt too. If somebody hurt him, I would feel it as if I'm hurt too. So when you are working together as a united front in any given situation, whatever challenge you are facing is going to be easier to deal with. Now, let's say a person is dealing with some sort of a health issue. And sometimes when somebody gets sick or somebody has any type of a health issue, it's very easy for the partner to get exhausted, to feel drained, to feel like I didn't sign up for this. And we have to understand and remember, any one of us in a relationship can, God forbid, go through a difficult moment. If somebody goes through a difficult moment, whether it's you or your husband, your wife, you need to be there for them. It's not the time to just, be exhausted, go out with your friends, say, forget about this, I'm exhausted, you're always tired, you're never available. It's not the right way to act. When your partner is not doing well physically with their health or whatever situation they're going through, whether they're going through, God forbid, any type of chemo processes or medications or workups or testing, you need to be their right hand. You need to be there for them. This is not the time to just call it quits and say, I'm exhausted with your problems, leave me alone. That is the wrong thing to do. Now, what was the toughest challenge you had with your husband? Obviously, if I'm married for over 20 years, thank God, I'm going to not remember every single tough situation. I'm sure there were many. But there is a tough situation that I remember that just pops up. When I read this question, what pops up in my mind? One of the most toughest situations that I had to deal with my husband was when I was in the PA program. And I was trying to graduate and I was trying to finish for my physician assistant degree. And unfortunately, during the program, something happened. I got kicked out. And that was a very, very difficult moment in my life. It was horrible because we had 2 little children, already so much we sacrificed, so much money, effort, exhausted timing. And it was really something I was really looking forward to with my husband, to finish, to graduate. So when I got the letter that I'm being kicked out for some stupid reason, which thank God is past me and it's over with and thank God it's taken care of, that was one of my most difficult moments of my life. It was very challenging. And how did we get through it? We got through it because we were there for each other. We were there to comfort each other. We were there to boost one another up. We were there to just be there, be present. Sometimes you don't have to do anything extra. You just have to be there. Understand what your partner is going through. Empathize. Not add any more salt to the wound, as they say. Don't make it hurt more than it already hurts. You don't need to give reasons. This happened because of this and this happened because of that. Nobody needs that at this time. Just be present and be there. This is how you're going to pass through a difficult time. Now again, everybody has their own difficult time. Maybe your husband or wife loses their job. Of course it's frustrating. Of course it's upsetting. We want our partners to work. But if it happens, they don't need you to come and again, drill it in their head. Oh, you're not good for nothing and you don't work and you're like this and you're like that. First of all, when you do that, the automatic reaction is you're making it worse for your partner. You're making them feel more horrible than they're supposed to feel. And when somebody's self-esteem is down the drain, they don't have the energy to keep going. They don't have the energy to keep pushing forward. So you need to be the one to be their cheerleader, to really be there for them and not criticize them and put them down when things are already hard for them as it is. So that's what I would say to these two questions. Let me see if there's anything else. Okay, this one. Have you ever been depressed? Okay, very interesting question. Have I ever been depressed? Now, if I tell you no, I would definitely be lying because of course I was depressed. Of course I was sad. Of course. Because again, there are moments in our life where we feel depressed, where we feel sad. Whether it's because there's a problem with a family member that can make us feel depressed, for some of us, whether it's a problem with work, for some of us, whether it's a problem with, even getting pregnant or giving birth, whatever the situation may be, we all have certain things in our life that can make us feel depressed. So have I ever been depressed? Absolutely yes. And the only thing that keeps me going when I feel depressed, what keeps me going? My surroundings, my friends, my circle of friends. I don't choose everyone in my life as my circle of friends. There are many acquaintances. There are many people that I know, many people that know me, just like all of you who are watching. You have people that you know and you have a lot of friends, but there are certain friends that when you're feeling very dark, you know who to call. There are certain people that you can call, and I would think and I would hope all of you have that one person or two people you can call them. You could tell them how you feel, and they're going to know exactly what to tell you to make you get out of that situation. So I could say, thank God that I have a very strong support system, thank God. So that's how I'm able to get out of moments where I feel depressed. I also feel it's very important to know how to talk to Hashem. It's so important, super important to know how to talk to God. Literally, if you can train yourself to have a conversation with the one above and actually feel it, like when you're talking to God and you feel his presence as if he's there, you can feel him, you can almost touch him because of that strong bond that you have with him, it will get you through any difficult situation. Maybe not right away, maybe not overnight, maybe not even in a week, but eventually when you really connect to the one above and you talk to him and you say, Hashem, you have to help me come out of this problem. You have to help me fix this situation. You are the one that I can come to and I can rely on. When you have that connection and that conversation and that bond, you will come out of that depressed moment in your life. You may come back. Whatever situation caused you, you may have the same situation triggering you again, but you're not going to stay there for long. You're going to stay there maybe for a little bit and then brush it off and keep moving forward. Anything else? Let's see. I think I've covered everything. Let me see. Oh, I think this is the last one. Okay. What does your daily routine look like? Okay. So what does my daily routine look like? So my daily routine is pretty much the same every day. I wake up, go to work, come home, cook, take care of the children, clean the house. And if I have an event at night, I will go host an event. If I don't have an event at night, maybe I could do a Facebook Live like I'm doing today. But there is no special routine. It's a very repetitious cycle. Just like most of you, you probably all have a very similar routine. But one thing that I could say keeps me really going in life is staying very busy. I personally prefer being extremely busy. Is it exhausting? It's exhausting, but I feel like not being busy enough makes me more tired. When I don't have what to do and I'm home, I get nothing done. When I'm busy and I'm like solid busy, I get so much more accomplished because I'm not taking my time for granted. Of course, it's good to have time off, but like on a Sunday, because I know I have a whole day ahead of me, by 5 o'clock, it's almost like, what did I get done today? It's 5 o'clock already? On another day, when I have an event and I'm booked and I have Shabbat coming up and it's a Thursday, because I know that I'm so busy and Shabbat is coming in early and I have an event on a Thursday night, every minute of the day that I have is not going to be taken for granted. I will utilize it. I will quickly, in between a break, go make my shopping, quickly put my bread together, quickly make a few salads while I'm, cooking dinner. The busier we are sometimes, the more we get accomplished. And it can be exhausting, yes. So we have to know what our limits are. If you're not able to push yourself to that limit, you don't have to feel guilty. You have to know what you can tolerate and what your limits are and work according to your personalities. So, Jana, definitely agree with being busy is more productive day than not being busy. That's what I love about myself. I like being busy and getting stuff done. I agree. So I feel the same way. So my daily routine is very busy, and it's actually very cute. I spoke to somebody today and even somebody last week, and they both said the same thing. They said, how is it possible that on a Thursday night, we're busy cooking for Shabbat, we're like running around at 9:30, trying to gather everything last minute, finish up all the cooking and the prepping, and you're on Facebook, made up, makeup, dress, everything. How do you do it? The truth is, I have the same Shabbat you have. I have children just like you have. I work full time. And it's not to say that I'm better than anybody. It's just that when we have prioritized what's important for us, if you know something is important for you, somehow it's going to get into your schedule. Somehow you're going to make time for it because it matters to you. It's a priority for you. When something is not important, like for example, I don't like going to the gym. I hate it. I do it because I have to do it and it's good for me and it's good for my health, but I hate it. So right now it's freezing cold outside. I don't like to do it. So you think I'm going to be running to the gym? I did at some point, but now it's too cold. Who in their right mind wants to go when it's 13 degrees outside? I'm going to go when it gets warmer outside. We're going to find every single reason and excuse not to do it. So it's not because we're busy. It's because we don't really want to do it to begin with. But when somebody really, truly prioritizes and it's important for them to get something done, they're going to get it done. So that's how I view this situation. The same thing goes when somebody calls you or you call somebody and they say, I'm so busy. Why don't you call me? I'm so busy. It's true. We're all busy. And some people are busier than others. But I have this mentality. If you're important enough for this person, they're going to make time for you. Whether it's 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 2 seconds, they're going to have the time to speak to you. But when somebody is not so important, there's always going to be, I'm busy, I don't have time. It all depends on how important something or someone is to you. That's how I think of it. Any other questions? Anything else you want to add? Because I think we're going to be wrapping it up for the night. I enjoyed it. I'm very thankful to everyone who was able to post tonight's anonymous questions. I was able to, it made me think a little bit, right? So these questions are very thought-provoking. Thank you so much, Lola. These questions are very thought-provoking, get me thinking, and I love that. So if you feel like you would have answered the questions differently, I would really love to hear how you would have answered some of the questions. Feel free to comment or private message me. But otherwise, we are going to wrap up momentarily. Give me a second. Zina, I'm going to try to read her comment. It's in Russian, so it's going to... Okay. Дай Бог тебе здоровья. Спасибо большое. Разницы никакой нет между медсестрой и парикмахером. У моего мужа высшее педагогическое образование. А я всю жизнь маникюрша. Мы равны, и слава Богу, 48 лет, понимаем друг друга, и дети хорошие. Очень хорошо. I'm so happy, Zina, что вы с нами это поделились. So, just to show you, you see, education is not always what's going to be the deal maker when it comes to matchmaking. Yes, it's important. Compatibility is important. The personalities are important. But it should not be the make it or break it factor, okay? I understand that many people think that if somebody is not educated, that means they're not going to be able to provide. It's true. In the world that we live in the society that we live in, where everything is very expensive and things cost a lot of money, definitely, it feels like having an education is that cushion that we fall back on. It gives us the safety net. It really does. It truly, truly does. And I'm not negating it. Like, if my kids are going to go dating tomorrow and I have a daughter, yes, of course, I will ask, what is the guy that's coming to date her? What does he do? It is important. It's a very important factor to take into consideration. But we shouldn't get twisted, especially the young generation, into thinking that if he's educated, you're going to have a happier life with him. And if he's not educated, your life is not going to be so happy. Education is not the definition of a happy marriage. It's not. What is the definition? It's their morals, their ethics, their values, their derech eretz, how much they respect people. What is their upbringing like? Do they have an ego issue? Are they able to spend, or are they very stingy? How are they when they're angry? All that is determining factor and how happy somebody is going to be when they get married, not how educated they are. Thank you so much, Lola. You're amazing as well. I appreciate it. So that is my take on that. If you have any more topic suggestions, ideas, any requests of special guests that you would like to see, join me. Please comment or message me privately, and I will try to see what I can do. I always enjoy having these Facebook discussions. I love them. You know, they keep me going. They keep me inspired as well. So I appreciate you giving me the ability to do these lives together with you. And thank you for your support. Thank you for always saying the beautiful words that you do. If you're not following me on my Instagram account, please go and follow me. I would like to build it up as well. So if you can go and just follow me on Instagram, it's Yochgram. So YOCHGRAM. That is my Instagram account. So if you are not following me there, please go and follow me. I would really, really appreciate it. And once again, thank you very much for joining me, and have a wonderful night.